was born in Pennsylvania. Could we roll that, Mont? Was that ready? Roll that piece.
I will call this the mystery of the seventh cow. Okay, I've talked about it.
Yeah, we're ready to hear about
You're ready to
this.
hear that.
Yeah.
As the cycle of the rise or fall of an economy, and actually the earliest mention of an economic cycle is in the book of Genesis, and it begins in Genesis 41 where the Pharaoh has a dream. The Pharaoh has a dream, and he sees 7 cows coming out of the river, probably the Nile. 7 cows. And the 7 cows are healthy. The Hebrew means, like well-fed and healthy. And then it said he saw another 7 cows come up out of the river, and these were sickly, or the Hebrew could mean evil, or diseased, and lean, fat, like starved. They come up out of the river and they devour the 7 fat cows. He's troubled by it. So it says, well, what does this dream mean? He said, well, there's the Hebrew in prison who can discern dreams. They bring Joseph to Pharaoh, and it says, then Joseph said to Pharaoh, the dreams of Pharaoh are one. God has shown Pharaoh what he's about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years. The 7 heads of grain are 7 years. The dreams are one. The 7 thin and ugly cows which came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty heads blighted to the eastward are 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I've spoken to Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he's about to do. Indeed, 7 years of great plenty will come throughout all the land of Egypt. But after them, 7 years of famine will come, and the plenty will be forgotten in the land of Egypt. The famine will deplete the land, so the plenty will not be known in the land because of the famine following it, for it will be very severe. This is the first economic cycle mentioned in the Bible, or probably anywhere, and guess what? It's based on 7 years, just like the Shemitah. Same thing. 7 years of abundance, that's the 7 cows, and then 7 years of famine or economic deprivation. And in the middle of that, the change is the 7th cow. It goes up each year. Each year, the cow represents a year. Each year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you get to the 7th cow, it's the 7th year. Represents the 7th year and the time when there's going to be a change from abundance to famine. Okay, so that's what you're watching. So now the Shemitah is also the 7th year. The Shemitah is the 7th year. And it also is linked to an economic cessation, just the same way. Now, God gave to Egypt, the first sign in the Bible of the economy, God gave them a warning. And the sign that put the two things together, you got cows and you got the number 7. 7 years and cows. Cows the number 7. And so that is this biblical symbol of warning. That is an image, that is a cow that was born a few days before the Shemitah with the number 7 across its head. Clear as anything. In the Bible, that speaks of the 7th year, Joseph, of a coming economic collapse, which was about to happen, and a famine. It appears now in America. Now, on what day did this sign appear on the Associated Press? When did it appear? It appeared on September 25th, the opening day of the Shemitah.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
All across America, I mean, in one form, whoever picked it up, Associated Press, the symbol of the coming of economic collapse or famine, and the very opening day of the 7th year is the symbol. The cow represents the years, the 7 years, as in the Bible, and the number 7. That on the beginning of the 7th year. And what that sign is, biblically, which to put out the biblical symbols, what that would speak about in ancient times, what happened in the time of Joseph, is not only the 7th year, but the change from abundance to deprivation, and that is speaking of, at least when it appeared, that those symbols appeared to Joseph and Pharaoh, 7 years of famine, or 7 years of deprivation.
Now, Rabbi felt that this
Shemitah year.
of the Shemitah year. But has anybody heard that? 7 is the warning of judgment. 7 cows, the warning of the judgment, according to the rabbi.
That's right. And everybody that saw this cow, nobody tried to spiritualize it. No one tried to wonder, what is God saying?
That's right. I went online, I read all the comments from all the people, and they all thought it was going to be that Pittsburgh was going to win the Super Bowl. Because there was a football player, number 7, who, they named the cow after. Actually, they named the cow Ben, Big Ben. And so it was all secular. No one heard God. Are you listening to me? You're not listening to God. Most of the people in America, we're hearing all the voices. More people go to football games than go to church.
That's true.
And so they named the cow Big Ben after a football player. No one caught that this was the first day of the Shemitah year that God warns his judgment, or it was the first day of the Jewish New Year when it was released on the AP wires to the world. John.
Jim, Big Ben, isn't that a clock in England?
Yes.
Could it be that now is the time?
Oh, that's good.
Ooh, I know it's now is the time. And by the way, the Jews are leaving Big Ben because they are saying in England they feel like no one, is honoring them at all. That they feel dishonored. They feel it's hopelessness. But in Paris,
France.
in France, where the rioting was and the murders took place, and the biggest march in the history of France took place a few days ago, bigger than Victory Day at the end of World War II.
That's right. There was
3.7 million. You're right. We're going to preach the prophetic word.
That's right. It says, this article right here, it says, Netanyahu to French and European Jews. Israel is your home. He's calling the Jews back home. And understand that God uses world events to fulfill prophetic destiny.
Okay, I want to get to this important announcement. I want you to, first of all, turn to Genesis chapter 41, verse 25. This is important. This is not something just idle. So I want you to go there. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, the dreams of Pharaoh are one. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. God always speaks and says what he's going to do before he does. But we've got to listen. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads are 7 years. The dreams are one. And I don't have time to go back and read all the dreams, but this is going to give you you most know the story anyway. And the 7 thin and ugly cows which came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty heads, blighted by the east winds, and these are heads of grain, are 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken to Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. Indeed, 7 years of great plenty will come throughout all the land of Egypt. We have had our years of plenty. But after them, 7 years of famine will arise, and all the plenty will be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine will deplete the land. So the plenty will not be known in the land because of the famine following, for it will be very severe.